Hey, welcome to Worlds Collide, the podcast about moving abroad. I am your host, Viktoria. I am so glad that you tuned in again. And especially after a little break, welcome back. I hope you didn't forget about the podcast. All right. So before I start with this week's topic and let you listen to it, I just wanted to let you know about the ways how you can support the podcast. Leave a 5-star rating wherever you can, or there is also a Buy Me a Coffee if you feel extra generous, or if you also just write a sentence or two why you like this podcast on Apple Podcast. That'd be awesome. If you want to be a guest, then don't hesitate to contact me and you will find all the info for that in the show notes. Always check the show notes. All right, so that was it. And I wanted to introduce now my guest, Gabriel, this week. He moved to Canada and his story is, it's up and down. So he has a little bit of a hard time in Canada at this moment. And we also talk a lot about the tax problems when you move abroad. So we'll talk about his case in particular, of course, now. All right, here is Gabriel.
Hey there! If you've just moved abroad or you're dreaming about it, you know that food becomes more than just food. It's comfort, it's culture, and in my opinion, the best and most delicious way to connect to a place. My name is Katie, and I host a podcast called Tasty Trails Travel Pod, where I sit down with locals and fellow travelers to uncover stories behind iconic dishes, hidden food traditions, and the flavors that make each culture unique. So if you're building a life in a new country and want to feel a little more at home, come join me at Tasty Trails Travel Pod, wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure that you check out episode number 15, that is with Viktoria. Can't wait to see you there. Bye!
All right, so my guest today is Gabriel. Hey, how are you, Gabriel?
I'm doing pretty good. You?
I'm doing good too. Where are you calling from?
I'm in Canada right now, Englehart, Ontario to be exact.
Where?
Englehart, Ontario.
Oh, in Ontario? Where is that? I mean, I know Ontario, but I don't know the town.
It's about 562 miles from the U.S. border. It's in northern Ontario. It's a small town, so it's not surprising you haven't heard of it before. It's like 1,000 people live here or something like that.
Okay, it's pretty small. And what brought you there?
Well, originally I was living in the States. I moved mainly to Canada for my wife to be with her. Mm-hmm. And originally Englehart wasn't the first town I moved to.
Okay. So is that where she is from?
She's actually originally from Copeland Lake, which is next door to Englehart. It's like a 30-minute drive from here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that explains it then? Why you ended up in that small town?
Well, that's part of it. I mean, I'm mainly living here with my mother-in-law at the moment.
Uh-huh. Okay. And how long have you been in Canada?
Since 2020. September the 20th of 2020 was when I first came here as a visitor.
Okay. And so was it just then the plan to just visit?
Well, during COVID, I mean, things got complicated. So originally the plan was to visit here for a bit and possibly go back to the States or extend my visitor visa. I know eventually the plan was to move here, but I didn't expect everything to pan out the way it did.
Okay. So, and where are you from in the U.S.?
Tennessee originally.
Oh yeah, you're from Tennessee. I thought you're like a Southerner. You can hear it from your accent.
Well, lots of people mention my accent. I mean, here where I'm at, I think since I came to Canada, hundreds of people have probably said, "Where are you from?" whenever they hear my accent.
Yeah. And do you so how is it for you at the moment? Because like it's in the middle of the winter and you're very far north, it sounds like.
Well, I mean, it's not too bad because here where I'm at, it's easy to walk around and get around town. I mean, winters are not that fun, now, but the summers are amazing here.
Okay. And the winters, is it like super cold? I mean, yes, of course, stupid question, but also So what is the hardest part about the winter? Is it like the cold, or is it like the lack of daytime or daylight?
Well, honestly, whenever I moved here, I knew the cold would be there. I knew I mean, I wish there was more daylight, obviously, but I
Mhm.
think probably the biggest surprising thing I had to deal with was just the dry skin.
Oh, right, right, right. Yes.
Because no one told me, oh, you're going to have dry skin when you move to Canada. They told me
Right.
about the snow, the ice, the stuff freezing temperatures, but dry skin was not something I was anticipating.
Okay, so it's like always itchy, yeah?
Yeah.
Always big bottles of lotions. Okay, and so how was the transition for you to settle down there?
I mean, overall, I was lucky in that, I mean, Canada and the United States are very similar. I
Mhm.
mean, the shift from Fahrenheit to Celsius is a bit interesting. There are some differences in culture and stuff. They're not the same, but they're also a lot more similar than if you move to another country like France or something like that. So that was pretty straightforward.
Mhm. So it's not like culturally, it's very similar?
Yeah, it's very similar culturally. I mean, there are some differences. Like here, they uh, they still look up to the King and Queen of England a lot more than they do in the States.
Well,
There's
yeah,
more
of
of
course.
a
That's a Commonwealth
the
country, yeah.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's more of a civic type thing and stuff. Like here, whenever they have like a shooting or something like that happens, the police do a like stay at home, shelter in place type thing more.
Mhm.
Versus in Tennessee, it's more of a oh, it's just another shooting. It's basically the culture's a bit different in terms of the way they respond to certain things.
Mhm.
Like you saw that with the mask mandates. Like in the States, most people would abandon the mask mandates within a month of the lockdown starting in March of 2020. But here, they had them for several years where they had the mask mandates off and on and lockdowns and things like that. So
Right,
there are
depending
some
where you were.
differences.
Yes, depending where you were, because I know like it really depends on which county you were in and which
Yeah,
state, obviously. Yeah.
so there are some differences, but they're also very similar. I mean, they have a McDonald's, they have Subways, they have a I mean, if you go and look at the town and stuff, you could walk through the town and you would notice there wouldn't be any obvious sign that would make it easy for you to spot a difference between a typical town in northern Ontario and a typical town in Tennessee, other than the weather and maybe the kilometers per hour on the
So
signs. But
so you could also may as well be in somewhere in northern Montana.
yeah, I mean, this it's very similar, really. I mean,
Mhm. And so, but are there like some differences that like struck out to you? Besides that, for example, that stay-at-home orders or the mask mandates, or
I
like
mean,
culturally.
really, there's not that many differences between Canada and the United States. I've found, relatively speaking. I mean, the economies are a bit different here versus in the States. Here, it's more of a resource economy.
Mhm.
But in particular, this part of Canada, like right here where I'm at, it's the clay belt. If you go a little bit further north, you go into the mining area, which is a big industry up north. That's the whole reason these towns even exist is a mining
Right, right,
industry.
right. And what was it for you? Why did you wanted to leave the United States, or was it just an opportunity and you wanted to try out Canada?
No, it wasn't really an opportunity. I was moved here to be with my wife because I met her through Facebook. We
Mhm.
traveled and visited each other a few times, and eventually I just decided I wanted to be with her, and I couldn't
Sure.
really get her into the United States because I didn't
Okay.
have the resources to move her there. So I decided I'd move to Canada
Uh-huh.
because Canada has a pretty decent and friendly immigration policy if you're married. But I mean, it's still
Mhm.
not a straight. It's not like you get a green card and citizenship the moment you marry. There's a lot of people who think that's the case. That's not the case. But by
Okay.
the same token, it's not the same as the United States.
Right. It's easier than the United States.
It's definitely easier. I mean, you don't have to, like, if you're moving to the United States, you have to show that you have the income to
support
take
the
care
other
to
person.
support. Well,
Yes.
you do have to do that here too, technically,
Okay.
depending on your situation. But overall, you don't have to show you can support their healthcare costs if you're married. Canada's got the healthcare taken care of.
Right.
There's certain areas where it's easier to move here if you're married.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So it made sense for you.
Yeah, it made sense.
Okay. And so was there times where you think like, oh, maybe I want to move back, maybe, or now guys are married, you can move back?
I mean, realistically, I don't know about ever moving back to the United States. I mean,
Okay.
I wouldn't mind visiting and staying there during the winter. I
Yeah.
definitely would love to stay there in the winter, but
Of course.
I mean, if money wasn't an issue, I'd probably be like a snowbird, spend the winter in Tennessee or down in Florida or something, the
Hmm.
summers in the Canada or something.
Sure. I guess like that's what Canadians do, right? They're gonna escape the winter and they just go to Mexico somewhere.
Well, yeah, those that are retired or have the money to do so, that's usually
Yeah.
what they do.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you contacted me and you said you had issues previously with filing for taxes because when you're a US citizen, you always have to pay taxes when you're moving abroad, even if
Oh,
your income is not even tied to the United States.
well, let's rephrase that. You have to file. That doesn't necessarily mean you pay taxes, but you have to file to
You have to
prove
file.
that you don't owe anything. You,
Ah, okay. So you have to file, but you don't have to pay to the United States.
well, for most people, you don't pay. I mean, everyone's situation is different. The laws kind of developed haphazardly around that, and have become so insanely complicated that I could do 20 podcasts with you and not go over it all.
Uh-huh.
But in my situation, I knew I had to file, so when I moved to Canada, I filed my 2020 return in March of 2021, and I was expecting a refund technically, but I didn't think much about it when I didn't get my refund because I knew the mail was totally screwed up at that time with COVID restrictions in
Right.
the post office and
Right.
everything and international mail delays. So I'm like, it's probably just lost in the mail, not a big deal. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't really feel like calling and dealing with that. So I just let it slide. I filed my taxes in 2022 and I wasn't due a refund that year. So I basically didn't really worry about it. I just mailed it in as that.
Uh-huh.
2023, I was due a refund. And this is also the year H&R Block switched to e-filing tax returns.
Ah, okay.
And this was when I first knew I had a problem because when I go to e-file my tax return, it needs an identity protection pin. And I'm like, what the heck is that?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I found out that my 2020 return, it wasn't lost in the mail. It was flagged as possible identity theft refund fraud.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm
Oh,
like, what?
so wait, so that was like even more complicated. It was not just um that your refund didn't come, but you were filed as
Well,
identity theft?
yeah, well, they got this program with the IRS called the Taxpayer Protection Program,
Mm-hmm.
which is designed to detect fraudulent and suspicious tax returns and flag them for additional verification.
Mm-hmm.
So what apparently happened was two things with my 2020 return. One, they flagged it as possible identity theft refund fraud because, well, before moving to Canada, I'd always got my refund deposited in a bank account, and here I was listing a Canadian address and mailing my return to Canada.
Sure.
So from an IRS
It's
perspective,
already weird.
that's weird. Why is he doing
Yeah.
that? So they flagged it, and apparently they sent a letter to me, but I never received it because of the mail delay or
Okay.
lost mail. So that's, I'm assuming, what happened there. And in addition to that, one other error that they did on that return was somehow or another they lost the return that I originally filed. I do not know how that happened.
Okay. And so, were you ever able to fix the situation?
Actually, that's still an ongoing. I still have ongoing legal problems with the IRS that started with my 2020 refund.
Oh, wow, that's a long time ago because now it's 2026.
Uh, it's way more complicated than that.
Okay, but do you think that's like a common thing among people who move to different country?
Well, I mean, it's common for people who move abroad to not from the United States to other countries to not know they have a U.S. tax filing obligation.
Yeah.
So a lot of them don't even file or whatever. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's just the United States and Eritrea that does that. No other countries do that.
Right. Do you have you heard of other examples, or do you know what happens if you don't file?
Well, if you don't file, technically under the law, they can come after you. But from what I've heard, the it's not really. They really usually don't do that because it's not practical for them to enforce it. I mean, I know some banks, if you don't do reporting for it in Europe, they will freeze your bank account if you're an American abroad and stuff. So there are all sorts of problems.
Huh, I never heard that before because I did not know that the banks in Europe are linked to the American IRS.
Well, it's the FOTCA, Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, where these banks have agreements with the United States where
Okay.
you have to report if you have over 10,000 in the bank, things like this. There's a lot
Right. I remember always
of
you have to say that in your tax report that you always have to uh there's always this question like, do you have money abroad which is more than $10,000?
yeah. Well, I mean the way these laws developed is really quite insane. I mean, I was on a whole podcast just discussing that, the Giants Among Us podcast we was talking about before. I was on
Uh-huh.
there going in depth on my tax issue, but I
Yeah.
mean, we can go all the way through that if you want, but it's
No, just no, I mean I was just maybe can you give a little help to somebody who's American who just moved abroad who is about to like face the
well,
tax problem.
I mean, in my case, take a look at your transcripts and make sure they don't flag you as possible identity theft refund fraud would probably be a good idea. I mean, that's probably
Okay,
the one piece of
but
advice
like
I'd give myself.
how can you avoid that?
I mean, it's really hard to technically avoid it. The IRS does what they do, but I mean, you can set up an IRS account and monitor it that way. I know you can also technically call the IRS from abroad, though you usually have a long wait time. But one thing
Right.
I would definitely not do is wait several years
Mm-hmm.
without getting a refund before you
Yeah.
call and contact the IRS to figure out what's going on.
Right. And did did you ever get your refund?
I got the refund check technically, as they still owe me some interest on that, which I'm still waiting to get resolved. But and also got legal questions about the low income tax clinic I used and everything else. There's a lot of questions I have around the IRS.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's move forward. So when you moved to Canada, did you get a job? Was it easy for you?
Well, originally my former employer in the States, I was planning to move from there to a job here in Canada with
Uh-huh.
that same company, but
Oh
that
yeah.
didn't exactly pan out. The left hand
Mm,
didn't know what the right hand was doing at that company, so that didn't work too well.
sure.
But after I moved here, I worked at a few places, but eventually I got laid off. So eventually I ended up, I was living in Timmins at the time, but eventually I also got evicted from there. So I ended up moving here with my mother in law for
Oh, I
now.
see.
So it's definitely not been a easy journey
It's
in
not an
terms of
easy
that
journey.
situation.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that was probably also never part of the plan.
No, it wasn't part of the
I
plan at all.
know.
I mean,
So do you have any something like coming up? Like any ups?
Well, I mean, I do suspect there might be upside to the legal issues with the IRS because I do have questions involving a job there. But outside of that, I'm right now looking into moving to Copeland Lake because I want to move closer to the bulk of my wife's family into a bigger town.
Oh, it's bigger, the other town?
Yeah, yeah. Well, Copeland Lake has a population of around 8,000. This town here
Okay.
has a population of around 1,000.
Sure. So that's insignificant bigger.
Yeah, and there's a lot more stuff to do there. I
Sure.
mean,
And then there are also more jobs, probably.
yeah. Oh, there are obviously more jobs. I mean, in this town, just looking at the restaurants, there's really only one restaurant here.
Mm-hmm.
Two, if you count the ice cream shop, because it's now open, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But
Yeah. So the ice cream shop is probably not an ice cream shop in winter.
it still sells ice cream. I mean, recently it was sold from, it used to be Mac and 80's ice cream, and it used to only be open in the summer, but now someone bought it out, and it's open. They're aiming to keep it open all year. They're selling ice cream, but they also sell other stuff like popcorn, movie theater popcorn, things like that. It's called Chili Willy's now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But like when you were facing all these troubles, like being evicted and all this, like even then you were not thinking of moving back to the United States, like closer to your family?
Not really. I mean, I want to stay with my wife and
Mm,
stuff. I love her,
yeah,
and I mean, I'm not going to leave her.
sure.
So basically, that wasn't really an option. And I mean, even if I did move back to the States, I'd still have to find a job there, and I'd basically be in
Sure.
the same exact boat.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. No, but I mean, I just wonder, like, if you are in that situation and it sucks so much, but would you be more comfortable to be in a place that you know better, or that at least you don't face such a harsh n- winter? I don't know.
I mean, I could do without the winter, obviously, but I mean, I'm not gonna. I mean, that's not a grounds to move back to the States, in my opinion. I mean, also since that time, I mean, my grandparents have passed away in the
Mm,
States, and I mean, I've grown accustomed to Canada, and I mean, like it or not, I guess you could say I don't really fit in either country at the end of the day because I've lived here so long. I've
sure.
picked up some of the traits of Canada, so I mean, I personally don't feel at home at either country anymore. It's kind of a
Or you don't feel at home at either?
Well, I mean, I don't feel like I would fit in with the United States any more than I would
Mm-hmm.
Canada. Like if my wife wasn't in the picture, I don't think it. I mean, I kind of like both countries. I mean, the United States treated me horribly with my taxes, but Canada's treated me good in many ways. The
Mm-hmm.
United States is where I was born, but Canada's where I live now with my wife. So I mean, it's complicated.
It's complicated, yes. So like, but you're already, yes. No, I get it. Like you're still like the foreigner in Canada, but like you don't feel like so American anymore. So you're not that attached anymore to the United States.
I mean, considering I've had a 5 year legal battle with the IRS over $1,800. It kind of changes
Ah.
your view of a country a bit. I
Yeah, it's
mean,
like
that's
let
why
it
so
go.
many.
Give it to me.
I'm like, I mean, it kind of changes your view once you see how crazy the U.S. government is with its tax code and stuff. I mean, that's why so many Americans abroad renounce their citizenship just because the tax code.
Because of the tax code. I remember like when I first came to the United States, it's like when you get a letter from the IRS, it's like it's like the worst thing. You already feel like you are with one leg in jail, basically. You know, I don't know. It's like the most serious thing that there is.
Yeah, I mean, it is stressful. I mean, I don't know about your particular situation. Like, where did you come from, and how did you end up in the U.S.?
Oh, well, I'm from Germany originally, and I came to the United States after I graduated. I did an internship, and then I liked it, so and then I stayed.
That's kind of interesting. You mentioned.
That's a very short version.
It's kind of interesting you mentioned Germany because my friend on the Giants Among Us podcast moved from California to Germany.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
All
he
right.
moved abroad.
Yeah. I don't know, like, everywhere where you go, I mean, or like at least for me, and I think it's for a lot of people, the grass is always greener on the other side. Like, when
It's,
it's like once you step foot on the other side, then you find people who are complaining about their side, and then it's like, oh yeah, all this over there is better, but then I don't know. Everybody has to pick.
I mean, it's like take healthcare. People in the States, I mean, healthcare is a divisive topic, but it's not really green on either country because in the United States, you have no wait time. If you wanted to go and get a knee surgery, you could get it in 2 weeks if you got good insurance with your job or whatever in the
Hmm.
States. There's no, and you can get any healthcare you want really there, but you have huge doctor bills. If something happens, you have
Yeah.
an emergency, or if you
Yeah,
have a lot of
exactly.
like diabetes or something, you can get huge doctor bills if you're not careful in the States.
Yeah,
Here in
you have to
Canada,
pay all your life for those bills. Yes.
yeah, here in Canada, on the other hand, you don't. I mean, if you break your leg, or if I broke my leg right now, I'd be taken care of and wouldn't have any problems.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, if I wanted to get a knee replacement, I would be waiting 3, 4 months for that to to get that done.
Okay.
So they both have. That's the disadvantage here. I mean, there's also a wait time here up north. There's a bit of a longer wait time for certain specialists. You have to travel far for certain specialists.
Sure, because you're so
Down
isolated. Yeah.
in southern Ontario, it's not as bad because you don't have as much of a distance to travel. But
Mm-hmm.
the government does give you grants to help with transportation to the specialists and stuff
Okay.
if you need that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But again, a lot of it just depends on neither system's really perfect. They both have their ups and downs depending on your situation. If you're healthy and can work a good, stable job, the United States is probably your better option. If, on the other hand, you come down on hard times, have health problems, Canada's probably better. But to say one's greener than the other, that's not really true.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends on each person's situation. And but is there something that you miss from the United States?
I mean, there are some things I miss from the United States, like some of the restaurants, some of the. I do miss my family, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I know I would like to go back to the restaurant Central Park in Tennessee. That's one of the restaurants I want plan to go to the next time I visit Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
And I love the fries there at that place. Some
The
of the
what?
best
The
fries.
fries?
Yeah, the French fries there are
Ah,
awesome.
okay.
I miss that.
Do you have like in Canada any special cuisine though? Because I only know poutine.
And as far as I know, honestly, the poutine's the big one. I mean, most of the other stuff I see here basically the same as what you find in the United States. I have noticed that Canadians love ketchup more than the average American does,
Oh, okay. Yeah. It is more ketchup and maple syrup.
and
to
maple
be
syrup
to be
too. But
cliche, to be extra cliche. Yeah. But so it's more like restaurants and then family, but and then everything else is so similar.
yeah, honestly, they're a lot more similar than people think. But they're also, I mean, they are different countries, obviously.
Yeah. But do you have to deal with I don't know. What about French?
Well, in this part of Canada, I mean, I'm a bit of a distance from the French border, but I mean, because most of the French are over there in Quebec, which,
Mhm.
I mean, I do encounter some French people every now and then, but it's not that often. I mean, I probably about as often as I'd encounter someone who spoke Spanish in Tennessee. I mean, it
Yeah,
happens, but it's not all the time.
so it's like you don't need French in all Canada. So you only need French in Quebec.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to know French because I mean, there's a lot of places that want you to be bilingual if you're working there or whatever.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's not a requirement to live in all of Canada except French, except Quebec. If you live in Quebec, you need to know French.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Okay.
elsewhere, it's nice to have, but it's not
Oh,
a
I see.
mandatory.
Yeah, it is. Okay. So it's like in California or in Texas, it's really good to have Spanish too, but nobody's asking for it.
Yeah, I mean some jobs you might lose out on some job opportunities if you don't know French here. Like the
Uh-huh.
hospital here is an example. I know in order to work at the hospital here where my mother-in-law works,
Uh-huh.
as a new hire, you have to know French,
Uh-huh.
but otherwise, it's not really required.
Okay. All right. And and how often do you visit your family in Tennessee?
I mean, not as often as I'd like. I think it's been a couple of years since I visited there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I went there. I think I've only visited there once since I moved to
Oh, I
Canada.
see.
Because I
Okay.
mean, it's expensive to
Right.
travel and stuff, and I just haven't had the money to do so.
Sure. But is it where you are, even like the smaller towns like they're further up north? Is it do they have like airports?
I mean, the nearest airport's about an hour and a half north of us, but there's also one about
Okay.
2 hours south of us.
Okay, so it's not that you have to drive all the way to the big cities.
No, I mean, I mean, most of the medium-sized cities have public airports you can get plane tickets on. I mean, even and assuming you're filthy rich, you could get some of the private plane airports. Like I know Copeland Lake has an airport 30 minutes away, but it's only for people who have the money. The same
Right.
thing with Alton, which is like 20 minutes south of us. It's got an airport too, but it's for the rich people.
Mm-hmm. I see. Okay. All right. And how is it how do people because like you are very obviously from Tennessee, so like do you get like repeating questions?
Well, I mean, here in this town, since I moved to it about a year ago, before this I lived in Timmins, but I've lived here for a little over a year. I don't really get a lot of questions because almost everybody in this town knows me.
Right.
I can go to the grocery store and people say, "Hey Gabriel, hey Gabriel."
Hey, sure, you are everybody knows you. You're
Yeah,
the
so
new
that's the
guy. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm new per se at this stage. I've been here for over a year, but pretty
No,
much
but at that
everyone
time you
knows
were
me.
new. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, they didn't really ask a lot of questions. I mean, I did get a lot of questions before, like whenever I was working retail in Timmins, I did get a lot of questions at times because some of the people there asked like, "Where's your accent? Are you from down south?" And then I always like tried to get them to guess where I was from, and usually they guess somewhere near Toronto or something. But then I tell them it's
Oh,
from
oh, they think
Tennessee.
like South in Canada, not like South
Yeah,
United States. Uh-huh.
I've had a lot of interesting conversations like that. I know on one trip to Dollarama in Copeland Lake, the person there said, "Oh my God, I love your accent. Can you keep talking?" Because she really loved my accent. That was one of her fun memories.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I guess we're coming to an end. Thank you for being on my podcast. Thanks for sharing your story.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I wish you all the best. I hope like you will find a nice job and also good luck on your apartment hunt in the next town over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Gabriel. Thanks again for being on my podcast and also like sharing your story, even if it's not the most happy journey. But I think it is really important to see for everyone that it's not always, I don't know, that life happens even if you're in a different country. All right, and especially if you are more curious about his tech story, I put the link of the other show notes where he talks about it more, where he goes more into detail about it. So yeah, check out the show notes. And of course, check out the show notes anyway to find out how you can support the podcast. And also, if you want to be a guest on my show, I'm looking for more guests at the moment. So yeah, it's a great time to reach out. You would do me a huge favor. All right. Until then, that was it. Bye.